18th on Game On, we chat with the first Echuca women's football coach Mick McInnes about the season.
Leachville Gunbower's Lee Pollock post-match interview following their impressive win over North Bendigo.
We have the first round of the semi-finals in Echuca Fashion Centre handball competition.
This week's game's brought to you by Max Childs.
Well, let's kick things off in the GVL this week, and the Murray Bombers were taking on the Shepparton Swans away.
Yeah, that's right, and it was another really disappointing loss for Echuca, going down by a goal. They were ahead at three-quarter time, but the Swans had the wind in the last quarter. We know it was a pretty windy day on Saturday, and they definitely made the most of it. Just Shepparton's second win of the season. So, look, really disappointing result for Echuca. They had the win in that first quarter, and they just couldn't make the most of their opportunities. 16 inside 50s, 1 goal, 3, really not enough to show for that. That last kick inside 50 really letting them down, and I think they know they can play a lot better than that. They turned things around in the second half, 5 goals in that third quarter, and they did take that slight lead to three-quarter time, but again, couldn't hang on. So look, the effort and attitude of the side is something being questioned by the coach, and look, you can see why. I mean, they're trying to become a successful, sort of established top 6 side. To lose to the bottom 2 sides who've only won a game each for the season 2 weeks in a row, I mean, that's really, I don't think, what the players probably expect from themselves. The more negative news, Tyler Phillips, a serious leg injury, and John Tiopia, who was on his debut, he took a knock to the head early in the game, just 3 minutes on his debut, but I'm sure he'll be back in the side soon. Another tough game again this week, Shep Bears, but look, they need to make a response, don't they?
Yeah, look, unfortunately I can't see them coming back from this one to make finals this season, and with Shep Bears coming up this week, it's another tough game, but I'll disagree with Andrew Briggs and say I think there's still a lot of heart at that club, and I think they will continue to play out the season and show some pretty good football. Across in the Murray League now, and Moama, they were taking on Mulwala, and they've certainly emerged as a team who's going to go deep into the final series this season. To take down a top 3 team away at their home ground is pretty impressive. So 11 points they won by at Lonsdale Reserve. The big story, though, coming out of this game was 19-year-old Logan Power. He was thrown against one of the league's, in my opinion, best full forwards, and obviously, Coach Mark Lloyd had a lot of confidence in him to put someone so young on the league's lead goal scorer, and he did an exceptional job. Power, he kept Ashley Frood to just 2 goals, and considering Frood kicked 6 against him in their first encounter, which they lost, that's an incredible achievement for someone so young, shows a lot of maturity there. They really capitalised on that strong first quarter. They led by 19 points, kicking into the wind, and were just able to carry that through the rest of the game, and it was really just a contribution from every area in the ground that got them the win in the end. Let's hope they can keep up that intensity, though, because they've got a couple of tough games coming up.
Yeah, every week it seems like there's a new youngster at Miami that's delivering, and when you combine all those promising youngsters with guys like Reece Argent and Luke Dunham, they're always in the best. I mean, that's why they are such a potent mix at the moment. But as you mentioned, they do have Deniliquin this week, which is a game you probably expect they should be able to get the winning. But after that, by Baruga and Nathalia, so some really tough challenges to close out the home and away season. We stay in the Murray League now, and we had Echuca United taking on Rumballara at Echuca South. Really bizarre day, this one for United. They knew the 17s weren't going to be coming across for a game, but just sort of 10 minutes before that Resi's game was going to kick off, they were told the Rumba bus isn't going to be showing up. So, look, I really sort of took the wind out of the sails. It really took the energy out of the day, and it was a bit like the side sort of played like that. It's kind of hard to explain why that would sort of lead to that, but I guess that's just sort of what happened. But look, I think most importantly for United, they did play a reasonably flat game, but they were really never in danger, and they were always pretty comfortable that they would be able to get that win, a 22-point win in the end. And look, again, it sort of shows they can win when they're not playing their best, which is good. Zach Myercheck continued brilliant form, another 4 goals for him, but I think those young guys for United really lifted. Nick Witchell, Shane O'Donnell, I think they were both on their debut, and they were right there in the best. So they've got a bye before Finley, but it's good for United to be winning.
Yeah, I think there was just really a lack of atmosphere of the entire ground that day, so a bit unfortunate there. Like you said, they do have the bye. Hopefully they'll be able to carry some of that momentum through, though, because it is their first time in quite a while. They'll be coming up in the finals series, so hopefully they'll be able to continue to play some really strong football. They've got that really tough challenge in the final round against Namurka, so hopefully the bye won't do too much to hurt their momentum going into that game. And then we've got Tom Gaylor. They had an unfortunate loss to Cobram. They went down by 44 points at Tongaila Recreation Reserve, and honestly it was a game they, like at the start of the season, they felt they probably should have won. They definitely had their opportunities, but it was just their ability to score that hurt them in the end. They just weren't kicking straight. But Jordan Suter, he really carried the side on their shoulders. On his shoulders, he played an important role both down back and up forward. And he kicked 2 goals in the end, and he was just out of position really too when he's usually an on-baller. So it just shows just how much talent this guy has. They've always said it was going to be a development year at Tongaila, but I guess to lose like they did, not being able to hit that scoreboard against a side who, like Cobram, who's still out middle of the ground, it's still going to be disappointing for them. They had another 8 changes to their senior lineup this week as well, so hopefully they'll be able to find some consistency in these final few games. But it was 2 of their ins, Riley Bacon and Jack Monaghetti, who are up there among the best. So they've certainly got a lot of talent at Tony. It's just a matter of putting it all out on the park on the day.
There was a huge game in the Heathcote District League this week when we had North Bendigo travelling to Gunbower to take on Leachy Gunny. We know the history between those sides, North Bendigo knocking off Leachy Gunny the last 2 grand finals, but it was the Bombers who came out on top in this one, a big 50-point win. It was a very physical, low-scoring game early, just a couple of goals each to half-time, but Leachy really broke the game open in that third quarter, taking control in the midfield, and really, we know how dangerous that forward line can be when you get the ball in there, and they dominated with 6 in that third quarter. But look, defensively, I think is the real highlight here. To keep such a powerful side like North Bendigo to 2 goals in 3 quarters, just a fantastic effort there. It was a milestone day for the Bombers too. 50 games for Matt Perry, but also 150 games for Lee Pollock, and they celebrated with the win. We caught up with Lee after the game.
No, it's real good to beat North Bendigo up here. Like, we haven't lost a game at Gunny for a long time, so, and yeah, to beat North Bendigo. Like, they had a couple of injuries, but at the end of the day, you got to play 22 players, so so it worked out pretty well in the end.
And across in the Pecola and District League, unfortunately, it is a game that Mathaura really wanted to forget this week, going down by 169 points to Berrigan at home. They went into the game with 4 late changes, which is always going to leave you a little unsettled, but 8 players, they were also playing in their second game for the day, so they sort of didn't have those legs to really run out against a tough side like Berrigan. In the end, it was their application and effort, though, that really hurt them, according to Phil Hazelman. He was out there back playing, though, in his first game back, and it was great to see him back out on the park where he belongs after that facial surgery earlier in the season. Pecola United, however, they enjoyed a better result, going away with the win to Blighty by 2 goals. A lot of it came down to that final quarter. They were 14 points down heading into that last break, but they really showed their fitness and consistency in that final one. A whole contribution from all 22 players, which is what got them over the line in the end. Coach John Barker, it's what he's been asking for all year, and finally they were able to show that, and hopefully it's something they can continue to bring in the final series, which is going to be pretty tough in the Pecola League this year.
Absolutely. We had the Women's League as well, the finals kicking off this week. Echuca unfortunately went down to the Chet Bears by just 7 points, which does end their season. But we had the chance to catch up with Mick McInnes, the coach of the women's team, for his thoughts on the season.
Yeah, well, like I said, starting off the first night, you had 20 girls turn up, and probably 10 of them never played sport before, let alone played footy. So yeah, to make the finals, even win a game, was a huge achievement. And then to make the finals is a big achievement for them, and can only get bigger next year. The end result was not what I expected. I thought we'd get over the line with having a couple of players back in last week, but very intense, very physical game, and to get so close to them after they beat us by 30 points 2 weeks prior, I was pretty happy with in the end, but disappointed that we couldn't go on further.
Well, we've got the netball now for you, starting in the GVL, where Echuca pulled off a pretty big upset here with a 13-goal win against the Shep Swans, and it's huge because it keeps them right in that mix for finals. Very congested ladder, so every win is absolutely vital. I think it was really important to get that huge start for the Murray Bombers, and from there they were able to stay consistent. We know that's been a bit of a problem for them, that consistency, and when they have stayed consistent, they have been winning games, so that is great to see. Plenty of strong performers, a really balanced team performance, but the goalers, Liv Hannon and Lisa Drysdale, was a really windy day, and to be able to convert so well in those conditions is fantastic. As we said, a congested ladder, but if Echuca can win 2 of those last 3 games, you think they might just be able to sneak in?
Yeah, look, over in the Murray League, it was Mima. They were taking on Moala, and they were certainly look to redeem themselves after that shock 2-goal loss to Tongala. Their focus this week, though, it was solely on defence, and they certainly achieved that, keeping Moala to just 7 goals. Look, again, a 49-point win. It's definitely put them back up there as the top dogs this season. They were even missing their captain, Alex Daly. So Emily Taverner, she was brought into that wing defence role. And look, you couldn't really tell the difference out there. They were able to change up their goaling lineup, put a few goalers into that feeding wing attack role, which was also great to see, as they'll be missing Steph Watson again this week. But they've just got that depth that really, when a player comes out, they've just easily got that person to come in and fill the role. And I think that's been one of the keys to their success this season.
Well, there was a big result for Echuca United, taking down Rumballara by 39 goals, as expected, against a side that hasn't been able to get a win yet this season. But I think it's a pretty important performance for United. We know they had those 2 losses to Tony and Moama, and then not the best win against Kangupna. But I think maybe we just saw them get somewhere back near their best against Rumballara. A couple of milestones for United. We had Sophie Atkinson and Amy Gledhill both played their 50th games, and they marked that with some very good netball. And they're sort of 5th on the table now, United, so probably just a little bit below those top sides, but they're going to be right in the mix come the finals.
Also in the Murray League, Tongala, they were taking on Cobram, and look, it was a 22-goal win, which is pretty impressive, but they've still dropped to 3rd below Numurkah, and it just shows how tight it is between those top sides in the Murray League this year. They were out without Caddy Mulholland this week, so it meant that they brought up another young girl who's still eligible for under-15s, and that's Rose Hammond. So she came on into that wing attack role, and she played beautifully with Tracy Hughes and Sarah Pettifer, and they're really combining to be quite the beautiful goaling combination this season. And then we've got Amy O'Neill in goalkeeper. She was again a standout, and along with Amy Hammond, and they were just taking intercepts left, right and centre. So a lot of promising signs for Tongala as they head into their finals. And in other games, Mathara lost to Berwick 37-59 in the Pecola and District League. At Pecola United, they had a tough battle against Blighty, going down 32-64. And in the Heathcote League, Leachfield Gumbar, they had a win over North Bendigo by 7 goals. Now we've got this week's fixtures with Max Childs.
Hi, my name is Max Childs and I play under 14s for Echuca United Football Club. In the GVL this week, Echuca will play Shepparton Bears away. In the Murray League split round, Tongala will play Kangupna away. Mama will play Deniliquin at home, and Echuca United have the week off. In the Heathcote League, Leachfield Gumbar take on White Hills away, and LBU travel to play Colby. In the Pecola League, Mathara play Drury at away, and Pecola United play Yarrawaya at home.
Thank you very much for that, Max. The semi-finals of the Echuca Fashion Centre Workwear First Handball competition are kicking off this week, and the best under-14s from each of the clubs are going to be battling it out for a spot in those prelim finals. Let's have a look at the first 2 through.
Alright, so we're starting with our first round at the semi-finals for Echuca Fashion Centre Workwear First Handball competition. We've got our first 5 competitors. They'll be trying to make their way through to our preliminary finals. Same rules apply. They've each got 3 handballs. Highest 2 scores will go through to the prelims. Let's meet the guys now.
Mackenzie Cowley.
Hi, I'm Harry Wright.
Hi, I'm Kingston Bentley.
I'm Zach Casey.
I'm Brady Lloyd.
You ready, mate? Alright, so we've got our first 2 guys through the preliminary final. We've got Harry Wright from Leachfield Gumbar and Mackenzie Cowley from Tongala Football Club. They'll be taking home $25 vouchers once again to Echuca Fashion Centre. Well, that just about wraps it up for another week. Be sure to tune into riverineherald.com.au and to our Facebook page for next week's episode of Game On, and grab your edition of Monday's Live to see if you're the American Hotel's next face in the crowd.
Well, thank you very much for watching, and stick around now to check out the best photos from the weekend.